TV, 30 seconds, please.
Good morning. This is the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate hearing for the City of West Palm Beach. I want to begin by explaining how this process is going to work. Generally, we hear the building cases first, then the city will call the cases as they appear on the agenda. If you have appeared at today's hearing, your case will be called before those where no one has appeared, but that's only true if you have signed in. So if you have not signed in, please sign in with the officer at the rear of the chamber. Once your case is called, I ask that you come down to the podium to my right-hand side. The city will put on its testimony and evidence first. You'll have an opportunity to review this evidence, to ask questions of the city's witnesses. You'll have an opportunity to testify and present me with your own evidence. Once I have all the testimony and evidence, I will make a ruling. I will either enter a ruling today or in the next few days, which you'll receive a copy of. If you have any questions as we go through the process, please feel free to ask them. This is not a formal courtroom. The formal rules of evidence do not apply here. However, all testimony is taken under oath under penalty of perjury. So if you're going to testify or think you might testify, or there's a possibility that you might testify, I'd ask that you stand and raise your right hand so you can be sworn in. Anyone that's going to testify? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under the penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida?
Yes, sir.
Please be seated. City can call their first case.
First case, number 6735 Upland Road, CE 24092667. Number 6735 Upland Road.
Anytime you're ready.
Good morning, Officer Underwood, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Property 735 Upland Road was initially cited as a courtesy on September 10th, 2024. Certified mail was sent out December 11th. Both City Hall and property were posted December 11th, 2024, and certified mail was returned January 2nd. This property was cited for 94-442-E, Parkways and Swale Landscape. I have not been in contact with the property owner, and the property is still not in compliance as of yesterday morning, and the city's requesting 30 additional days or $200 a day until compliance is achieved.
Good morning, thank you. You said you've not been in contact with the property owner. Is that the property owner today? Or
Yeah, we actually met. Although I didn't recognize him, but we actually met when he left the first citation.
Correct.
To your understanding, that is the property owner?
To my knowledge, yes.
Yes, to your knowledge? Okay, thank you. Nothing further, Special Magistrate. At this time, we're asking for the photographs. I'll ask, did you take the photographs, officer?
Yes, I did.
And those truthfully and accurately depict the violation we're speaking about this morning?
Yes, they do.
Okay, we're asking for the testimony as well as the photographs and the case file to be admitted into evidence, barring any objections, Special Magistrate.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Victoria Preuss.
And you're the owner of the property, ma'am?
I'm sorry?
You're the owner of the property? Do
Yes.
you have any objections to the testimony or evidence from the city?
Well, yeah, kinda. Oh, okay. That's my turn?
No, I just need to know if you object to me
What
putting
my
this into
objections
evidence.
are?
Yes.
Okay, well, my objections, it's a little bit convoluted, but I've owned the house for 40 years, and,
Hold on, one second, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
What I'm all asking you is if there's something wrong with what they've presented so that I can't put it into evidence. Then you can tell me your side of the story, but this is...
Oh, okay. Well, no, I guess this picture looks okay.
Okay. All right, without objection, I'll put in evidence the evidentiary case file the city has presented as city's composite exhibit. All right, ma'am, go ahead. Tell me what you want me to know.
So I've owned the house for 40 years, and I'm very environmentally and sustainability minded. And what we did out there, I had a partner at the time, was we tilled it out completely and planted golden creeper, native golden creeper, and well, that was it really. Native golden creeper, which is a low-growing, xeriscape minded shrub. And That was fine. It's been growing there now for, we didn't plant it right away, but at least 25, maybe as long as 30 years ago, those things were planted. So they are mature. They don't become trees or even medium-sized shrubs. They are what they are. I admit I had let them get a little taller than they should have been when Mr.
Underwood.
What?
Underwood,
yeah, sorry, was there. But in fact, he caught me working in the yard the day he was giving out citations. But they've since been cut down to half the height that is seen in the picture. And here's the story behind it. They are very well developed, well rooted in the ground there. And in the years since they were planted, both the water department and the gas utility have placed service lines down my side of the street underneath using directional boring. The gas people actually cut my water line by accident when they were working and fixed it. But I really have concerns about trying to uproot what's there and to put it and turn it into something else. Even the grass that we tilled out is coming back after all these years. It's very hard. And I've had, there's no irrigation there. I am very xeriscape minded, very sustainability minded. Losing my train of thought here.
Hold on one second, ma'am. What is, specifically, what is the violation that you observed, Officer Underwood?
Their city requires in the parkways or swales to be sod, or if sod is not okay with the owner, they're allowed 4 options. Perennial peanut, Asian jasmine, and sunshine mimosa.
Yeah, I have some
They're
of that in my
low-level
yard.
ground cover as an alternative to having sod because of root
Yeah,
issues,
right.
Damage to the drains, things like that, and just uniformity through the city. It's not just Flamingo Park, it's citywide. This is a code.
So the material that's currently there is not,
It is not low-growing, low-level vegetation, and it's root-bearing and stuff like that.
so even if she cuts it, that'd still be a violation, essentially?
Correct.
So it has to be replaced?
Because as you can see, when it gets let go, it's 5 feet tall,
Okay.
and it's obstruction for view.
Excuse me?
Hold on one minute, ma'am, I'll let you talk.
Aside from that,
I didn't understand
if
what
you,
he said.
if you go back to the pictures that are right there, she has concrete sidewalk with pieces of concrete and bricks in the parkway, which is prohibited. They can apply for a permit to get a concrete sidewalk put in the parkway in the right-of-way. That way, if anything does happen to the water lines or the sprinklers or anything that the city has to come in, we're not responsible for replacing that concrete that's on the city easement.
Where's
So it
the,
either- it
where's the,
either-
where's the concrete that you're
Go to
talking
the,
about?
switch the pictures, Monique. Keep going, keep going. You see right in the middle, you can see there's a little sidewalk. There's better pictures in a second. There's a sidewalk right there. Keep going. Go to the,
I know what he means, Your Honor.
go to the January one, please, yeah. The city will approve it, but they have to apply for it and put it on paper. That way, if anything happens and the city has to come in and
Oh,
correct.
okay, so like that
So
little,
there's little bricks, there's paver, there's like concrete in there and stuff. And obviously, it's overgrown and not maintained. But again, if the city has to come in there and do any kind of maintenance, we're not responsible for damaging that sidewalk or anything like that because it's,
all right, so basically she has to replace the ground cover with something that's approved by the city? Is that
correct. The city
essentially-
would prefer sod, and again, if that's not an option, they want something a little prettier, then there are 4 options for low-growing ground cover, which is in a packet that I handed to them.
Ms. Preuss, is it Preuss?
Preuss.
Preuss?
Preuss, like Freud.
Preuss. Oh,
The concrete that he's referring to was actually there when we bought the house and could very well have been there when the house was built. It's got a passage through the parkway and then 2 little wings, like where you would let someone out of a car or a carriage, whatever.
I appreciate your desire to do xeriscape and less water and that's all, but it still has to be something that's approved by the city. It's just the rules of the city.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I understand the mandates of visibility, for pedestrians and cars going by, and it doesn't impede anyone's visibility. And the water runoff, which was the main thing I read in the code, it's not running off because it's well in the ground and it is xeriscape that needs that
Ma'am,
water.
I will grant you that there are probably good arguments against the city's policies. But I don't get to argue those because I'm not a city council person, right? The only real job I have are what are the rules and are you following the rules? And if not, how do I get you to follow the rules? If you think the rules are bad, which may or may not be true, I can't speak to that, right?
Right.
If the rules are not good rules, then it's the city council that has to change them. I'm not a dictator, right? I don't get to change the rules. But it's relatively clear to me that the plants that you have there are not maintained properly, and even if they were, they're not the ones that the city has approved. There's 4 types of landscaping that you can do other than sod, and that's not one of them. So you have to either get the rules changed, which seems to me a pretty heavy lift, but, sometimes you can. It's your city, and, you elect your representatives. Or you have to comply with the rules. And in this case, that means to replace your ground cover with something that the city has approved.
Permission to speak, sir?
Go
My
ahead.
neighborhood organization is working with the city at this point. One of the city, our district city commissioner rode around with the neighborhood president and looked at all the variety that is exhibited in the neighborhood. And they are trying to work with the city to get it changed. My question is, can I admittedly cut it down more, but keep what I have until there is some decision on what can be allowed? And in fact, I would be happy to work with the committee that's doing that.
Well, I can give you some time to comply, but I can't give you forever, and I can't know what the city is going to choose to do or
Yeah,
not to
understood.
do. The city is giving you 30 days to comply. How much time do you think you would need? You have to ask me.
I'm
for
sorry?
some- How much time do you think you would need to bring your property into compliance?
Special Magistrate, if I may. This initially went all the way to the mayor's office and all of the head and senior planners of planning and zoning, and that's why it was initially a 90-day courtesy note. It was a 90-day courtesy given. Once she didn't comply with that, it turned into almost 30 days before court, and the city's requesting an additional 30 days. If you can just take
So
that
it
into
does seem like the
consideration.
city's trying to
Well,
give you
my
time.
understanding from the neighborhood was that this was kind of being discussed. Sorry.
So it was 90 days from the first time they noticed you?
That's correct.
Cities said they want to give you
Well,
another
I
30.
understood it was a bureaucracy. I didn't expect it to happen overnight.
The city has asked me to give you 30 days to come into compliance. Is that enough time for you?
I suppose it would be. Can I make one more argument? As an unfunded mandate for someone to be grandfathered in for something?
Yeah, that's not quite how that works.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you 60 days. Because it does look like you're going to need a lot of work here, and you're going to have to.
It's going to be a lot of work. Those roots will never come out without some damage.
Yeah. All right, in case.
I mean, the grass roots won't even come out.
I appreciate that, ma'am. I do.
Okay.
In case CE 240926667, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I found the property in violation 94442E, improper ground cover, not properly maintained. Respondent has 60 days to bring the property in compliance, or a fine of up to $200 per day may issue. You've met the officer. It's important that you stay in contact with them and let them know when you're in compliance, because it'd be much better to be in compliance than to be fined.
Okay, thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Special Magistrate, if I may, I just wanted to be clear to the respondent that it is 200 days, ma'am.
60 days.
Who's talking?
I mean, sorry,
Sorry.
I saw you were looking. I just wanted to be clear for the record and for your understanding that the special magistrate's ruling is that you have 60 days to comply, or
From now.
From now, or there will be a $200 per day fine.
I heard that.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to
Thank you
make
for
it
coming in,
clear.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, number 7, 7800 Okeechobee Boulevard, CE 241-23089. Number 7, 7800 Okeechobee Boulevard.
Magistrate, the respondent needs to be sworn in.
Is there anyone else here that hasn't been sworn in? If you haven't been sworn in, please rise and raise your right hand. Ma'am, you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under the penalty of perjury and the laws of the state of Florida.
I do.
Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On December 9th, the property at 7800 Okeechobee Boulevard was cited for prohibited banners and balloons and prohibited portable signage. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted January 2nd. Certified mail was sent December 20th. I have been in contact with the property owner's representative. As of yesterday, the violations still remain. So with that being said, city's recommending 10 days to bring the property into full compliance, or $150 a day. I'm also asking for a finding because what I've encountered with this property, which is my third go around with this property, the tenants tend to put improper signage out. They'll pick them up. Months later, put them right back out again. So I would request a finding on this property if it does come into compliance.
Special Magistrate, as you can see, we're having some technical difficulty in uploading the case file as we go along.
So why don't you tell me what you observed?
Okay, basically what I observed is banners being flown by certain tenants, feather signs being flown by Jimmy John's in particular. They also have Jimmy John also has a banner out by the roadway. Right now, as it stands of yesterday, they are the only outstanding violations on the property. Banner and prohibited portable signage.
All right. Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Lily Vassallo.
Ms. Masala, can you tell me what your position is with the owner of Golden Shops LLC?
I'm the property manager.
So the city says your tenants are flying unpermitted signs.
That's correct, and I found out days after he sent the notice. I sent out letters to all of them, and they've all complied but one, which is Jimmy John's.
Did you anticipate Jimmy John's complying?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been doing this a while, so I can sort of read what the officer's telling me, and essentially the officer's concerned that they take the signs down and then they get complied and then the signs show up again. Is there, I mean, the problem ultimately for you is that the property owner is ultimately responsible, and so the fines could start coming down on
I
your head
understand.
rather than theirs. Oh, we got our pictures back? Yeah, okay. Is that one still up?
Yes.
That one is still currently up as of yesterday. And day before yesterday, I went in there and verbally asked them to remove it, and it's still flying. So my thing, Magistrate, I give people more than enough opportunity to correct any type of violations that do occur on the property, but a lot of times I get ignored.
Do you have any objection to these pictures being entered in evidence?
No.
That objection, I'll accept in evidence the testimony and photographs of the city as city's composite exhibit 1. I'm going to follow the city's recommendation here, unless you give me a reason not to, and I'll give you 10 days to see if you can get the sign thing cleared up.
Okay.
After that, there's a potential fine of $150 per day each day that it's in violation, so that might be a good thing to convey to your tenants.
Will do.
All right. In case CE 24123089, to make the following findings of fact and law, I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of the listed code section, specifically prohibited banners and signs. Respondent has 10 days to bring the property into compliance or a fine of up to $150 per day may issue.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
Okay, that's all we have for contested matters. Case number 1 is complied, 3608 Morton Avenue, E CE 24112961. Number 2, 709 35th Street, E CE 24112975.
Anytime you're ready, sir.
Good morning, Jesus Mendiola, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. I discovered violations on 709 35th Street on October 28, 2024. The property is occupied. The violations I discovered were 94-302-A, which is the fence repair. The chain link fence was in disrepair. 78-6-2, they're missing rear address characters. 74-4-C-1, hurricane hazard, they need to trim the trees that are touching the structure. 18-265-B, they have boarded up a window. Either remove the boards or they need to get a boarding certificate. 18-106-A, clean sanitary and trash and debris all over the property that needs to be cleaned up and maintained. 94-71-C, outdoor storage. They have outdoor storage all over the front yard and under the carport. 94-442-C-1. There's a lot of patches of on the grass are missing sod in the front and in the rear of the property. 74-4-C-5, which is the alleyway maintenance that needs to be cleaned up, and also all the dead vegetation they have lying on the ground. The property was cited on November 6, 2024. Certified regular mail were sent on November 7th, 2024. It was signed. The notice violation was posted at the property and City Hall on December 24, 2024. I completed the affidavit of posting. The photographs taken accurately and truthfully depict the violations I observed. I did have contact with the property manager. He did agree to the extension that I am going to be asking for today, which is 90 days to gain compliance or $250 a day until compliance is achieved.
Great, thank you. And you believe the 90 days is a reasonable amount of time for it to comply with these 8 violations?
Correct.
Okay, and you did state that the property owner is in agreement with the 90 days, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, Special Magistrate, though we continue to have technical difficulty, I'm asking for the Code Enforcement Officer's testimony, case file, once it's pulled up, photographs that he's testified he's taken and they're true and accurate to be admitted into the evidence as the record.
Well, it's a bit of an issue since we can't actually see the photos that we want to admit. Would it help to take a 5-minute technical break and see if we can figure out what the problem is?
I don't think so, but I could try.
Do we have anybody in the IT that can help us?
Yeah, but we have a vendor that we use their software, so it's.
I think it's
I
the
could try on keyboard.
it's the EPL system that is the issue.
We could try IT.
If
Would it help just to reboot it? All right, let's for anyone watching on TV, let's take a 5-minute recess and see if we can figure out what's going on here.
They got us on.
All right. All right, we're going to resume the hearing now. So the Officer Mendioli testified as to the conditions on the property. You said you spoke with the respondent?
I spoke with the property manager. He emailed me yesterday to notify me of some of the violations that had been cleared and that they were working towards fixing the violations. He provided also a quote for the fence. I did discuss with him that he would need a permit for that, so we agreed to meet on the property on Thursday to go over the violations, so everything would be done correctly.
The property owner understands the nature of the violations on their property? You've talked to
Yes,
them
sir.
about them? They believe that they can get them all complied within 90 days?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In case CE 24112975, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of the listed code sections. I adopt by reference the testimony of the code officers to the nature of those violations. I give the respondent 90 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of up to $250 per day may issue. Oh, look, the pictures are back.
Number 3, 400 51st Street, CE 24092767.
City of West Palm Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited September 26th. Certified mail was sent September 26th. Certified mail was received September 30th. City Hall was posted along with the property on October 1st. This property was cited for 74-34A-1-H garbage can placement and 74-4C-5 dead vegetation, 94-442C-1 sodding of the yard in all bare areas, and 94-71C outdoor storage. As of yesterday, all the items that came into compliance were 74-4C5 dead vegetation, the 94-442C-1 sodding of bare areas, and the 94-71SC outdoor storage. Remaining violation is a 74-34A-1H garbage can placement. I'm also requesting a finding of fact for the outdoor storage. After the initial violation notice was sent out, I had a correspondence with the property owner and the management, and they have a tenant that continues to put things out. Even after that, all through the week, every other day there will be something else stored outside, mattresses, chairs, just random things being stored out. I've gotten quite a few requests on the city website that the neighboring people could go in there and do their complaints. So for that, I'm asking a finding of fact for the 94-71-C. In the cities, for the garbage can placement, the only violation that's left that's left on this, the city is requesting an additional 15 days at $150 per day after. I took all the photos. Every photo that I've taken truthfully, accurately depicts what I saw when I was there, and that's it.
Great, thank you. So the only thing that's not in compliance is the trash can, and we're asking for 15 days or 150
Yes, ma'am.
thereafter. Okay, great, thank you. And you were able to speak with the property owner?
Yes, ma'am.
And are they in agreement with 15 days?
Yes, he says it should take less than that. Every other day he tells me it's in compliance. I go by there and there's something new. So
Okay.
I can't manage it for him. Like I let him know I can't be your manager. You have to lay eyes on it to tell me that it's complied. But you can see in all the failed attempts I went out there, every time I went, there was something new that was outside. So to me, no one is putting eyes on it. They're only going off what a tenant tells them, so.
And you believe the 15 days is a reasonable amount of
Oh,
time?
yes, to move their trash can to the back, absolutely.
Okay, great. Nothing further, Special Magistrate. I'm asking for the code enforcement officer's testimony, the case file that we have now, the photographs, be admitted into evidence, barring any objections.
All right, without objection, since there's nobody here to object, I accept in evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, including the photographs and testimony of the code officer as the city's composite exhibit. In case CE 24092767, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property having been in violation of 9471C, which is outdoor storage, including the mattress and chair, but has since complied, but outside the the required compliance date. I make further finding that the property is in violation of 7434A1H, which is they have a trash can in public view. They have 15 days to bring that in compliance, or a fine of up to $150 per day may issue.
Number 4, 854th Street, CE 241027881.
City of West Mutual Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited October 1st. Certified mail was sent October 1st. Certified mail was received October 3rd. City Hall was posted October 3rd. This property was cited for the violations of 18-106A, trash and debris, 74-4C-5, items in the swell, 26-35-B, repeat violation, 74-4C-3, overgrowth, 94-315-A, dumpster screening, and 94-71-C, outdoor storage. The repeat violation was from the September 26, 2024, with case number CE 22070334. And for the repeat case, those were for 18-106A, 94-315-A, and 94-71C. The repeat violation on this case ran for a total of 8 days, and for this, the city is asking a total of $50 per day with a grand total of $400. I had correspondence with the property manager as well as the property owner, who just encouraged me that things would change and they wouldn't leave things like that out on their property anymore.
Okay, so I'm sorry, just for the record, the 26-34-B, which is the repeat irreparable violation, I've seen the total here. You stated there's another one. Is that the?
No. Yeah, that was a different, there was 2 cases that they ran repeat for, so I just gave both of them.
Oh,
So
okay,
they were on the
okay,
record.
gotcha. And what is the city asking? What's the
A
record?
total of $50 per day for the 8 days with a total of $400.
And all,
Are these code sections all in compliance now?
Yes, everything's in compliance
that's
now.
what I was just about
Oh, yeah,
to
sorry about that.
ask.
Yeah, they're all in compliance now.
Okay, thank you, great.
So basically what you're asking is that they were out of compliance for 8 days, and these constitute a repeat violation, so you want $50 a day for the 8 days they were out of compliance? Is that essentially
sir.
it? Yeah, okay.
Okay, nothing further, Special Magistrate. We're asking for the code enforcement officer's testimony, case file, and photographs shown to be admitted into evidence.
All right, without objection, I'll accept into evidence the evidence case file in this case, including the photographs and testimony of the code officer as city's composite exhibit. In case CE 241027881, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of listed, having been in violation of the listed code sections. Make further findings that violations constitute a repeat violation under Code 2635B of the Code of Ordinances of the City of West Palm Beach. I hereby find that the property was out of compliance for 8 days. I assess a fine of $50 per day for each day it was out of compliance, for a total fine of $400.
Number 5, 734 Upland Road, CE 24092666.
Welcome back.
Good morning, Officer Underwood, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This property, 734 Upland Road, was initially cited as a courtesy September 10th, 2024. It was transitioned into a notice of violation, and certified mail was sent out December 11th, 2024. Both Property Hall and City, both the City Hall and property were posted December 11th, 2024, and certified mail was returned January 2nd, 2025. I have not been in contact with the property owner, and the property was cited for 94-442-E, landscapes and swales and parkways. And the city's requesting 30 additional days or $200 a day until compliance is achieved. I have driven by as of yesterday, and they removed the bushes between the road and the sidewalk, and it is just bare grass. They need to replace it with sod or the approved plant material in order to be in compliance. It seems like they're halfway there, which is why the city's requesting an additional 30 days.
I'm going to presume that whatever that giant bush was is not an approved landscaping?
That's correct.
Okay.
And is it your opinion that the fact that they have moved some of the, or attempted to comply, that they have been noticed of your
Correct, I have not been in
violation?
contact with them, but they are doing work, and like, as I said, the bushes have been removed, so there is dirt there now, as you can see in the non-compliance pictures, if Monique can bring them up. So, without being in contact with them, I'm assuming they know they put sod down. I hand them the flyer of the approved plant material, and
And do you believe the 30 days is a reasonable amount of time?
yes, it is.
Okay, great, thank you. Nothing
There you
further,
go.
Special Magistrate. We're asking for the code enforcement officer's testimony, case file, and photographs, which you took those photographs, correct?
That's correct.
Be admitted into evidence at this time.
Without objection, I'll accept an evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, including the testimony and pictures presented as city's composite exhibit. So basically, they just have to put the sod or approved plant material down at this point. They're halfway there, right?
That's correct.
Notice was by certified mail and posting?
That's correct.
And you requesting 30 days or $200 per day?
Correct.
All right, case CE 24092666. I make the following findings of fact and live find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 94442E, improper landscaping in the swale. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $200 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Number 8, 4295 45th Street, CE 24123088.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On December 19th, the property at 4295 45th Street was cited for business tax receipt violation. This is a renewal. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted January 2nd. Certified mail was sent December 20th. I have been in contact with actually this is Sam's Club, so I have been in contact by the store representative. The violations have since been cured, but I'm asking for a finding on this topic. The compliance date that was set was December 23rd, and actual compliance didn't take place until January 9th. So with that being said, city's asking for a finding on this in particular violation. I've been dealing with Sam's Club and this same issue for the past 4 years. I did send out notice last year and they paid the bill, and it has reoccurred this year again as the bill not being paid on time, sent out notice again. At least this time, I actually got a contact from someone. So hopefully it stays in compliance, but city's still asking for a finding so it does stay in compliance.
Okay, thank you. And when was it, yeah, I think I was waiting for Monique to pull. When was it paid, actually?
January 9th.
I
Okay,
got that.
okay, I didn't see it. Okay, thank you. Nothing further, Special Magistrate. We're asking for the testimony to be accepted, as well as the case file and the photographs into evidence as the record, please.
Sure, without objection, I'll accept an evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, including the testimony and pictures presented by the code officer as city's composite exhibit. Don't they usually have like people that handle this? This seems like an odd one to be a continual problem, doesn't it? Yeah, well,
Listen,
I guess
we're
that's
not
beyond this.
we're not even gonna get into that.
Yeah,
We're
all right.
still trying to work that out.
You know what, we probably shouldn't, so let me just do it. In case CE 24123088, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property having been in violation of 82144, which is a failure to obtain a business tax receipt during the time period required. Respondent has since come into compliance, but after the required compliance date.
Number 92461 Metro Center Boulevard East, CE 24123075.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On December 13th, the property at 2461 Metro Center Boulevard East was cited for business tax receipt violation. This is a renewal. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted January 3rd. Certified mail was sent December 13th. I have not been in contact with anyone in regards to this business. I did make contact at the time of posting. I left my business card. I left a copy of the invoice that needed to be paid. I also emailed a copy of the invoice that needed to be paid. As of this morning, no action has been taken by the business owner. So city's recommending 10 days to bring the property into compliance, or a one-time fine of $250 be assessed to the property.
Okay, great, thank you. Nothing further this time, Special Magistrate. We're asking for the, excuse me? Who's talking? Oh, my hearing voices?
No, I heard it too.
It's a mostly empty room, so all the voices carry.
I'm like, normally I don't answer to them out loud in public. But may we have the testimony of the code enforcement officer, the case file, and documents accepted into evidence, barring any objection, which there is no one present. Thank you.
Without objection, I'll accept into evidence the abstract case file in this case, including the testimony and pictures presented by the code officer, city's composite exhibit. Is this a renewal or is this a new business tax?
This is a renewal. You're gonna get plenty more of these.
I just have a hard time understanding why this happens, but
Which is really hard to understand, because the thing is, I provide so much opportunity to do it. I send you out a copy of the invoice, and if it gets to the point where I cite it, I leave one at the property. So there's
and
really no
you
reason.
posted the notice physically at the property, right?
Yes, and I also leave an invoice.
And they
That's
still
just the way I
haven't
do
paid,
it.
they still haven't paid their business tax.
And that's a nice chunk of
I
change.
don't know, I don't know what to do for them here. Case CE 24123075, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 82144 for failure to pay their business tax. I issue a one-time fine of $250.
Number 10, 4241 San Marino Boulevard, 103, CE 241028887.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On October 22nd, the property at 4241 San Marino Boulevard, Unit 103, was cited for rental license violation and certificate of use. This is also a renewal. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted January 3rd. Certified mail was sent out October 23rd. Certified mail was returned December 5th. As I always do, I made several attempts to make contact with the property owner or representative. I left messages. I've emailed invoices. I've posted the property. And as of this morning, no action has been taken. With that being said, city's recommending 10 days to bring the property into compliance, or $100 a day until compliance is achieved. I did confirm with on-site management that the property is being rented, and by what I observed at the time of posting, it seems to be that the property is occupied and still being rented, to put that on record.
Great, thank you. Nothing further, Special Magistrate. We're asking for the testimony and the case file to be accepted into the record as evidence at this time, in addition to the photographs shown.
Without objection, I'll accept in evidence the inventory case file in this case and the testimony and photographs submitted by the code officer, city's composite exhibit. So this is a rental property that's currently being rented,
Yes, sir.
and there is no certificate of use on file?
There is, but it's not up to date.
So there's an expired
expired.
certificate.
Expired, yes.
Okay. And there is no business license, current business license? Or
None.
business tax? Okay. And you noticed the property owner, you sent certified mail?
I've exhausted everything I could. I thought posting it would get me some type of action, but you cannot rely on the tenants.
And you saw that there were tenants in the property?
Excuse me?
You saw that there were tenants living at the property?
I confirmed it with the on-site management. as I do with every rental.
All right, in case CE 241028887, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice sufficient for the property in violation of 2232A and 22441, specifically for rental property. It has an expired certificate of use and no business tax receipt. Respondent has 10 days to come into compliance or a fine of $100 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Number 11, 4201 Georgia Avenue, CE 24112990.
Good morning. Good morning. Richard Pesmino, City of West Palm Beach, Code Enforcement. This property was cited on November 13th, 2024. Certified mail was sent out November 14th, 2024. It was signed and received on November 18th. In addition, the property and City Hall were both posted on November 19th, 2024. The affidavit of posting is completed and attached to this case file. In addition, regular first-class mail was also sent. This property was cited for outdoor storage screening requirements. The screening on the fence is all tattered and worn, blowing in the wind, unmaintained. 18106A for trash debris, unsanitary conditions. There's trash on the property, on the public side, on the other side of the fence. There's been no changes with that. 18106B, excessive growth, the weeds and grass on the property and on the public right-of-way adjacent to the property are overgrown and unmaintained. And 94302A4 for fence maintenance. The fence is disrepair. There's a gate that's hanging over into the sidewalk. It's in a hazardous condition. I've had no contact with anyone for this property. There's been no changes or no progress. All violations still exist. The fence condition has deteriorated. It is now hanging more into the public right-of-way on that side. With that being said, the city's recommending 21 additional days to comply these violations. If not, asking for a fine of $300 a day until compliance is achieved.
Great, thank you. On your revisit to the property, are the postings still on the property?
No, they were removed.
Okay, so the postings were removed. Do you believe that there should be a request for an abatement for the city? Is it a hazard at this point, the fence?
I wouldn't say it's a hazard, but it's hanging. It's blocking some of the sidewalk.
Okay.
I don't know that we would have services to abate it.
Okay. And do you believe 21 days is a reasonable amount of time to get this property into compliance?
Yes,
And you took the photographs, right?
I took all the photos you've seen.
Thank you. And they truthfully and accurately depict the violations still in place in what we're discussing today.
Yes, they do.
Thank you so much. At this time, Special Magistrate, we're asking for the Code Enforcement Officer's testimony, the case file, and the photographs depicting the violations to be admitted into evidence as the record, please.
Without objection, I'll accept into evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, including the testimony and pictures presented by the code officer as city's composite exhibit. Have you had contact with the?
I've had no contact. I had contact with them in the past, a couple years ago, for a different case. They have another case running fines. It's a liened case, but no one reached out to me for this one.
And I believe you testified that that the conditions on the property have not been addressed at any?
No, they've been getting worse.
And you believe 21 days is a sufficient amount of time to bring this into compliance?
Yes.
All right, case CE 2411290, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of the listed code sections. I hereby adopt by reference the testimony of the code officer as to the nature of those violations. I give the respondent 21 days to come to compliance or a fine of up to $300 per day may issue.
Number 12, 5909 Parker Avenue, CE 24112981.
City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer Richard Pesmino. This code case was a result of a complaint, multiple complaints. This is the cemetery that I've brought to hearing before. This is a second repeat case. So it's a cemetery that part of the property is undeveloped and it's adjacent to one of the city's parks. This is a second repeat violation of Code Sections 18106A, unsanitary conditions, trash and debris, and 74.4C3, overgrowth, grass weeds exceeding 6 inches in height. And the repeat section code is 2635B. This is the second repeat case. The first repeat case was CE 24062189. And that case just came into compliance September 10th, 2024. So the current case we're hearing today was cited, created November 13th, 2024. Certified mail was sent out November 14th, 2024. It was signed and received November 18th, 2024. In addition, the property and City Hall were both posted on November 19th of 2024. The affidavit of posting is attached to this case file. And regular first-class mail was also sent. I've had no contact. There has been no changes, no progress. All the violations still exist. As I said, that first repeat case was a couple months before this case came. I had to open up this case. The last case, they cut the grass and complied that case on September 10th, 2024. That was the last time any work or maintenance was done in that area. That was the last time I've had any contact with anyone. The complaints are continuing to come in about the conditions of the property, about animals, coyotes living in that area. People that are doing the early morning walks at the park are seeing it, calling me, complaining. With all that being said, and all the photos you see that I took myself, the city's recommending $500 a day from the first observation of the violations, which were October 29th, 2024, and to run until compliance is achieved.
Thank you, and I remember this case vividly, and we have a lot of complaints from the citizenry of the city. And I remember vividly the representative that was here the last time too, who made promises. So they complied September, and since September to October,
Yeah, it grew back.
It grew back,
Yeah.
so
It was
quick.
raining a lot back then. We haven't had a lot of rain since, but.
And I remember we told the representative it needed weekly maintenance, and that was promised. And again, we have been having a lot of complaints from the citizens. At this time, Special Magistrate, the city is asking for the code enforcement officer's testimony, the case file, the photographs to be admitted into evidence at this time.
Without objection, I'll accept into evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, including the testimony and photographs submitted by the code officer as city's composite exhibit. I do remember this case.
Yeah, it was heard by
And there
you.
was the woman that came and spoke for the respondent. You haven't talked to her since?
So the woman who came was stepping in for someone else who was at vacation at the time. The main person I deal with, they never reached out to me. When I posted this violation, I took my picture and I went into the office and gave it to them. Asked them to reach out to me. No one has. I've had no contact.
All right. Okay, CE 2411298, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 18106A and 74.4C3. Specifically, the area has once again become overgrown and trash and debris have been placed there. I make further finding that said violation is a repeat violation under Code 2635B of the Code of Ordinances of the City of West Palm Beach. Hereby assess a fine in the amount of $500 per day beginning on October 29th and continuing until the property comes into compliance.
Number 13, 514 Churchill Road, CE 24123067.
Code Enforcement Officer Richard Pasmino for the City of West Palm Beach. This case is for a delinquent rental license and certificate of use, so expired rental license, certificate of use. It came from our list of delinquent business license. This property was cited on December 12th, 2024. Certified mail was sent December 12th. and it was signed received December 16th, 2024. In addition, the property and City Hall were both posted on December 12th, 2024. The affidavit of posting was completed and is attached to this case. The code sections are 22-441 for the rental license, since it's delinquent and expired, unpaid balance, and 2232A for the certificate of use, the same unpaid, expired. I attached screenshots of our system showing the original, the first day I worked on the case, noticing it balance, and then one of today showing no payment being made. I've had no contact. Like I said, no payments have been made. The rental license and certificate of use are still expired. The property remains occupied. They have holiday decorations on the door after the case was created. The property appears occupied. The city's recommending 15 additional days to come into compliance, or asking for a fine of $100 a day until compliance is achieved.
And how, and you may have said it, I just missed it, how do you know it's being rented?
At the holiday decorations, they have Christmas decorations.
I know, but it could be how do you,
Oh, they have a previous rental license.
okay.
Established that they let expire. They let go delinquent.
But the decoration in and of itself doesn't say whether they're renters or
No,
it could be the owner.
Yeah, it just
We're
shows it
going based
occupied.
on the rental license having been previously requested?
Yeah, being established. I believe the owner, when I was researching, he has multiple rental properties. The mailing address is a different, his main address that is homesteaded.
Did you
should be
check
in
to
there.
see whether maybe the water or the electric bill's in somebody else's name?
I don't have that on there, no.
Yeah, that's a good resource that, I think we just found that out. I forgot who I was speaking with. That we
Go
have,
download.
our utilities sometimes ask for the lease to get the water situated under the renter's name.
I think the problem here is it's probably rented, but I don't know that it is.
I think it's on.
Correct. One second, special man. Was it you I was talking to, and you got the lease to?
Yeah, so it's it's not homesteaded. They have a mailing address. I think that is his homesteaded address. And like I said, he has multiple businesses and properties in the city. I emailed him as well. No contact. If we could get an order, like, put on there to close the business license if it's not paid, I don't know.
My recommendation at this time, Special Magistrate, is to continue this matter and do a little bit more research to get for more substantial competent evidence that it is in fact rental.
All right, let's continue this and you can bring it back.
Case number 14-5101 Webster Avenue, CE 24112977.
Code Officer Richard Pazmino, City of West Palm Beach. This property was created in result from a tenant complaint. A tenant called me to the property. She had issues in her unit, and the findings were 18103B, conditions of structure. The exterior structure had cracks on the walls and foundations. 94315A, dumpster screening requirements. This is a multi-family apartment building, and the dumpster requires an enclosure. 18103C, conditions of structure for the interior walls, floor, ceiling. At the time when she called me, they left her unit like that. I guess they were doing repairs, repairing a leaking ceiling, and tore everything down and left it like that for a number of days. 18106E, I'm sorry, 18106A, trash and debris on the property. 94485B1E, the parking lot at the property had potholes and needed resurfacing. And 18106E, exterminate rodents, pests, vermin. There were evidence of that in that unit that the tenant lived in. The case was cited, created on November 8th, 2024. Certified mail was sent out November 12th, 2024. It was signed and received by the owner November 18th, 2024. In addition, the property and City Hall were both posted on November 14th, 2024. And since creation of this case, I have been in contact with the owner and the maintenance people at the property, met at the property, re-inspected all violations. And as of Monday, all violations except for 94315A have complied. For that code section and that issue, permit plans and approval are required to build a new garbage can enclosure to screen the garbage. So the city's asking for 90 additional days to comply that section, or asking for a fine of $100 a day after that.
Which section for the 90 days?
94315A.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
the sole violation that's outstanding.
Outstanding, okay, thank you. Nothing further, Special Magistrate. We're asking for the case file, the testimony, and the photographs to be admitted into evidence at this time.
Without objection, I'll accept on evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, including the testimony and pictures submitted by the code officer of city's composite exhibit. So you got them to do everything else, huh?
Yeah.
That's a job well done.
Right.
Sometimes it's very hard to get that kind of, but they got rid of the vermin, they fixed the parking lot, they got rid of the trash.
They got rid of the tenant. And then did everything, yeah.
All right, so the only thing outstanding now is the dumpster?
Yes, correct.
All right. In case CE 241129777, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation 94315A, specifically the dumpster screening. The dumpster needs to be screened. Respondent has 90 days to come into compliance or fine of up to $100 per day, Mayor.
Thank you.
Number 152606 Electronics Way, CE 241022805.
Good morning. Good morning, Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. While on patrol, I noticed grass missing in the swell area at 2606 Electronics Way. I initiated my investigation on September 26, 2024. This property is occupied. There I observed the following violations: 94442E, sod missing in the swell; 744C4, trees and hedges obstructing the sidewalk right away; 744C5, dead vegetation, garden waste, particularly along the fence line and crossing over onto the sidewalk. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of this hearing date. The notice of violation was noticed by certified and regular mail on October 10th of 2024 by the city's clerk. I hand-delivered the notice of violation on December 18th, 2024 to Ryan Spencer, president of UME Moving and Storage. The notice of violation was posted at City Hall on December 18th, and I also completed the affidavit that posted on December 18th of 2024. I revisited the property on January 6, 2025, and observed the property not to be in compliance with the following code section: 94442E, sod in the missing swell areas. All other violations have complied. I took the photos at the initial investigation and when I revisited the property. The photos show that the violations still exist on the property, and these photos accurately and truthfully depict the violations I observed during my investigation. The property owner is not present, but I did make contact with Ryan Spencer. Per Ryan, he's working on obtaining a few quotes to sod the swell areas for the entire street. This is a part of an entire street that I had to cite for the soil area. So he's requesting an additional 30 to 45 days to sod the soil area, given the amount of quotes that he was working on during the holiday season. So the city is asking for 45 days to comply. If no compliance, a daily fine of $100 per day.
And you believe 45 days is a reasonable amount of time?
Yes.
And Mr. Spencer was in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further, Special Magistrate. We're asking for the code enforcement officer's testimony, the case file, as well as the photographs be admitted into the record as evidence, please.
Without objection, I'll accept an evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, the testimony of the code officer, and the pictures submitted for review as city's composite exhibit. So it's just the sod?
Yes.
And KCE 24102-805, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation 94442E, missing sod along the Swale and Parkway. The respondent has 45 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 16, 915 34th Street, CE 24112949.
I'm Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. While on patrol, I noticed structural damage at 915 34th Street. I initiated my investigation on October 7th of 2024. This property is vacant. There I observed the following violations: 18103B, repairing the exterior wall; 18106B, excessive growth; 7434A1H, trash container in public view; 7894C, parkway overgrowth; 9471C, outdoor storage. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of this hearing date. The notice of violation was noticed by certified and regular mail on November the 1st, 2024 by the city's clerk. I posted a notice of violation at the property and city hall on December 9th of 2024. And I also completed an affidavit of posting on December 9th, 2024. I revisited the property on December 18th, 2024, and observed the property not to be in compliance with all of the previous code sections. I took the photos at the initial investigation and when I revisited the property. These photos accurately and truthfully depict the violations that I observed during my investigation, and they also show that the violations are still on the property. The property owner is not present, but I did make contact with the owner, Travis Dupree, over the phone on the January 1st, 2025. Per Travis, he inherited this property in September of 2024 after his father's death. He was unaware of the state of the property. I reviewed the violations with Travis and informed him of this hearing date, but he lives outside of the state of Florida and was not able to make the hearing. But he is requesting an additional 60 days to comply. So with that being said, the city is also requesting 60 days to comply, and if no compliance, $100 per day.
And 60 days is a reasonable amount of time.
Yes,
that
he's
correct?
immediately starting to work on the violations. Yes.
Okay, great. Nothing further. We're asking for the code enforcement officer's testimony, the case file, and the photographs be admitted into evidence as the record. Magistrate, please.
Without objection, I'll accept in evidence the evidentiary case file in the case and the testimony of the code officer, as well as the pictures submitted into evidence as city's composite exhibit. KCE 241122949, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of the listed code sections. Hereby adopt by reference the testimony of the code officer as to the nature of those violations. Respondent has 60 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of up to $100 per day may issue.
Number 17, 2656 Electronics Way, CE 24102-810.
I'm Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. While on patrol, I noticed grass missing in the swell area at 2656 Electronics Way. I initiated my investigation on September 26, 2024, and this property is occupied. There I observed the following violations: 94442E, sod missing in the swell, and 744C4, trees and hedges obstructing the sidewalk right of way. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of this hearing date. The notice of violation was noticed by certified mail and regular mail on October 10th, 2024 by the city's clerk, and I hand-delivered the notice of violation on December 18th, 2024 to the front desk staff The notice of violation was posted at City Hall on December 18th of 2024, and I also completed an affidavit of posting on December 18th, 2024. I revisited the property on January 6, 2025, and observed the property not to be in compliance with the previous mentioned code sections. Both of them are still not complied. I took the photograph at the initial investigation, and when I revisited the property, the photos show the violation still exists on the property, and these photos accurately and truthfully depict the violation I observed during my investigation. The property owner is not present, and I have not made contact with the property owner. However, the front desk staff did inform me that the owner is going to fix the side and the front of the swell area. I believe that this is among many cases along Electronics Way, and the owners are working together to get a quote to sod the entire street. So with that being said, just to be consistent with Electronic Way, the city is asking for 45 days to comply. If no compliance, $100 per day.
Great, thank you. Nothing further, Special Magistrate. We're asking for the testimony, the case file, and the photographs to be admitted into evidence as the record, please.
Without objection, I'll accept in evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, as well as the photographs and testimony of the officer as city's composite exhibit. In case CE 241028110, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I found the property in violation of 74-4C4 and 94-442E, specifically obstruction of the right-of-way by plants and missing sod. Respondent has 45 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $100 per day. May issue.
Number 18, 3300 Electronics Way, CE 2410280.
All right, Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. While on patrol, I noticed missing grass in the swell area at 3300 Electronics Way. I also initiated my investigation on September 26, 2024, and this property is occupied. There I observed the following violations: 94442E, sod missing in the swell area. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified my contact information and notice of this hearing date. The notice of violation was noticed by certified and regular mail on October the 11th of 2024 by the city's clerk. I hand-delivered the notice of violation on December 18th, 2024 to Ryan Spencer, president of UME Moving and Storage. The notice of violation was posted at City Hall on December 18th, 2024, and I completed the affidavit of posting on December 18th, 2024. I revisited the property on January 6, 2025, and observed the property not to be in compliance with the code section 94442E. I took the photographs at the initial investigation, and when I revisited the property, and the photographs show that the violation still exists on the property, and they truthfully and accurately depict the violation I observed during my investigation. The property owner is not present, but again, I did make contact with Mr. Ryan Spencer, who is the president of the company that's on site. And per Ryan, he's working to obtain those quotes to sod the swell area. So with that being said, the city is asking for 45 days to comply. If no compliance, a daily fine of $100 per day.
Great, thank you. Nothing further. We're asking for the case file, the photographs, and the code enforcement officer's testimony to be accepted as evidence into the record, please.
Without objection, I'll accept an evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, as well as the testimony and pictures submitted by the officer of city's composite exhibit. I'm sensing a pattern here.
Yes.
Yes.
So Special Magistrate, if you can, Ms. Williams, the supportive photos, can you pull those up for me, please? I think it's attached. And this will give you a picture of what's taking place along the street. So 18-wheelers are parking in the swell area, primarily for the company at 3300 Electronics Way. But these 18-wheelers are expanding all the way back throughout the street. So the side in the area, especially as you approach 3300 Electronics Way, it's extremely compact to where when it starts to rain, flooding is starting to become an issue, and it's taking a long time for water to successfully drain, which can be a hazard for mosquitoes. At the corner of the street, which is 36th Street, there's a community that lives there, and they're complaining about the 18-wheelers just idling along the road and how they have the street in general looking. But the owner of this particular company and represent multiple parcels along the street, he's aware of the problem and he's trying to comply. But it is going to be an extensive job that calls a lot to sod the entire area because they have to also fill.
So you're seeking the same remedy, the 45 days and the $100?
Yes, he said 30 days, so, but just to be on the safe side, 45 days.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, in CE 24102804, make the following findings of fact and life. Find notice sufficient to find the property in violation 94442E, specifically the missing sod in the Parkway and Swale. Respondent has 45 days to come to compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 19, 2626 Electronics Way, CE 2401028009.
All right, Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. While on patrol, I noticed grass missing in the swell area at 2626 Electronics Way. I initiated my investigation on September 26, 2024. This property is occupied. There I observed the following violations: 94442E, sod missing in the swell area, and 744C4, trees and hedges obstructing the right-of-way. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, contact information, and notice of this hearing date. The notice of violation was noticed by certified mail and regular mail on October 10th, 2024. And I posted a notice of violation at the property and City Hall on December 18th, 2024. I also completed an affidavit of posting on December 18th, 2024. I revisited the property on January 6th, 2025, and observed the property not to be in compliance with Code Section 94442E, which is the sod missing in the swell area. I took the photographs at the initial investigation, and when I revisited the property, these photographs accurately and truthfully depict the violation I observed during my investigation. The property owner is not present, and I have not made contact with the property owner. I did make contact with the property manager via email on December 30, 2024, and per the property manager, the owner will be sodding the swell area. With that being said, the city is asking for 45 days to comply. If no compliance, daily fine of $100 per day.
Okay, great, thank you. Nothing further. We're asking for the code enforcement officer's testimony, the case file, and the photographs to be admitted into evidence, into the record, please.
Without objection, I'll accept an evidence the evidence case file in this case, as well as the testimony and pictures submitted by the code officer as city's composite exhibit. Are the trees no longer an issue here?
No longer an issue. They were cut back.
So it's just the swale again?
Correct.
All right, case CE 24102809 to make the following findings of fact and law. Find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation 94442E, missing sod in the swale and Parkway. Respondent has 45 days to bring the property to compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Okay, we're going to continue on with the Electronics Way addresses. So we're going to skip over 20, go to 21 to 2820 Electronics Way, CE 24102813.
Thank you. Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. While on patrol, I noticed grass missing in the swell area at 2820 Electronics Way, and I initiated my investigation on September 26, 2024. This property is occupied. There I observed the following violations: 94442E, sod missing in the swell area. The city issued a notice of violation, the city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of this hearing date. The notice of violation was noticed by certified and regular mail on October the 11th, 2024 by the city's clerk. I hand-delivered the notice of violation on December 18th, 2024 to the front desk staff. The notice of violation was posted at City Hall on December 18th, 2024, and I also completed an affidavit of posting on December 18th, 2024. I revisited the property on January 6, 2025, and observed the property not to be in compliance with Code Section 94442E. I took the photographs at the initial investigation and when I revisited the property, and these photographs accurately and truthfully depict the violation I observed during my investigation. The property owner is not present, and I have not made contact with the property owner, but again, per the front desk staff, they are aware of the sod area. The owner is aware that the swell area needs to be sod. So the city is asking for 45 days to comply. If no compliance, a daily fine of $100 per day.
Great, thank you. Nothing further, Special Magistrate. We're asking for the code enforcement officer's testimony, the case file, and photographs to be admitted into the record as evidence, please.
Without objection, I'll accept in evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, as well as the testimony and photographs submitted by the code officer, city's composite exhibit. In case CE 24102813, make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, find the property in violation 94442E. Respondent specifically failure to properly sod the swell and parkway. Respondent has 45 days to come to compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 22, 2658 Electronics Way, CE 24102811.
All right, Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. While on patrol, I noticed grass missing in a swell area at 2658 Electronics Way. I initiated my investigation on September 26, 2024, and this property is occupied. There I observed the following violations: 94442E, sod missing in a swell area. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of this hearing date. The notice of violation was noticed by certified and regular mail on October the 11th, 2024 by the city's clerk. I hand-delivered the notice of violation on December 18th, 2024 to the front desk staff. And the notice of violation was posted at City Hall on December 18th, 2024. I also completed the affidavit of posting on December 18th of 2024. I revisited the property on January 6, 2025 and observed the property not to be in compliance with code section 94442E. I took the photographs at the initial investigation and when I revisited the property, and these photographs accurately and truthfully depict the violation I observed during my investigation. The property owner is not present and I have not made contact with the property owner. The front desk staff again did mention that the owner will be sodding the swell area. So the city is asking for 45 days to comply. If no compliance, daily fine of $100 per day.
Great, thank you. Nothing further. We're asking for the testimony, the case file, and the photographs to be admitted into the record as evidence. Please, Special Magistrate.
Without objection, I'll accept in evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, including the testimony and pictures submitted by the code officer as part of city's composite exhibit. In case CE 24102811, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of 94442E. Failure to provide sod in the swale and parkway. Will respond as 45 days to come to compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 23, 2660 Electronics Way, CE 24102812.
Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. While on patrol, I noticed grass missing in a swell area at 2660 Electronics Way. I initiated my investigation on September 26, 2024, and this property is occupied. There I observed the following violations: 94442E, sod missing in a swell. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of this hearing date. The notice of violation was noticed by certified mail and regular mail on October the 11th, 2024 by the city's clerk, and I hand-delivered the notice of violation on December 18th, 2024 to the front desk staff. The notice of violation was posted at City Hall on December 18th, 2024. I also completed the affidavit of posting on December 18th of 2024. I revisited the property on January 6, 2025 and observed the property not to be in compliance with the following code section, 94442E. I took the photographs at the initial investigation and when I revisited the property, and these photographs accurately and truthfully depict the violations that I observed during my investigation. The property owner is not present and I have not made contact with the property owner. The city is asking for 45 days to comply. If no compliance, a daily fine of $100 per day.
Nothing further, Special Magistrate. We're asking for the Code Enforcement Officer's testimony, the case file, and photographs to be admitted into the record as evidence, please.
Without objection, I'll accept in evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, including the testimony and pictures submitted by the code officer as city's composite exhibit. In case CE 24102812, make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient from the property in violation 94442E, specifically failure to sod the swales and parkways or missing sod in the swales and parkways. Respondent has 45 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 24, 822 33rd Street, CE 24102861.
My apologies. What number is that again?
We can go back to
We
20.
can go 20.
Do you want, that's fine. I was going to do it since we're on the page, but if you want to go back to 20, 1009 22nd Street, CE 24112988.
Thank you. Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. I received a complaint via email regarding overgrown tree limbs and branches, which a potential hurricane hazard at property 1009 22nd Street. I initiated my investigation on November 12th of 2024, and this property appears to be occupied. Not 100% sure. There I observed the following violations: 74-4-C-1, trimming hazardous trees and vegetation, which is touching the roof. You have tree limbs sitting on top of the roof of the home. 18106A, trash and debris. 7434A1H, trash container in public view. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of this hearing date. That notice of violation was noticed by certified mail and regular mail on November 14th, 2024 by the city's clerk. I posted the notice of violation at the Property and City Hall on December 9th of 2024. And I also completed the affidavit of posting on December 9th, 2024. I revisited the property on December 18th, 2024, as well as January 14th of 2025, and observed the property not to be in compliance with the following code section, 744C1. The trees are still touching the roof. I took the photos at the initial investigation, and when I revisited the property, the photographs accurately and truthfully depict the violations I observed during my investigation. The property owner is not present, but I did make contact with the property owner over the phone on November 7th of 2024. During the phone conversation, I reviewed all the violations and how to comply them, as well as this hearing date and next step if compliance was not achieved. The city is asking for 30 days to comply. If no compliance, a daily fine of $100 per day.
And you believe 30 days is reasonable amount of time?
Yes, given the amount of time that I have provided so far, and also making contact with the owner way back in November. So he's aware of what needs to be done. Just haven't done it yet.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further, Special Magistrate. We're asking for the photographs, the case file, and the testimony of the code enforcement officers. The code enforcement officer's testimony be accepted into evidence, into the record, please.
Without objection, I'll accept into evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, including the testimony and photographs submitted by the code officers for the city's composite exhibit. So I can see the hurricane hazard stuff is still there. The other two code sections, clean and sanitary and trash, are they still at issue?
No, they're not.
Okay. So it's just the trees leaning on the house?
Yes.
And you think they can get that done in 30 days?
I think so. I opened this case back in September, and had I would have not made earlier contact with the property owner, I can see that point. But I did a good job explaining to them back in November what they need to be, what they need to do to comply the case. I think that it's just a lack of doing it. But while scrolling through the photos, I did notice that the front picture, if you go down a little more, keep going down, please. Here, that tree in particular, I may need to contact them because I'm wondering if they don't fully understand what's going on, because that looks like the tree has been cut and trimmed, but I specifically told them that no branches can be touching the roof because that is a hurricane hazard, and also explained that the neighbor next door to them, they can cut that tree if they want to since it's crossing their line, but I can't get involved in that. But nevertheless, I did explain to them that for their structure, no branches should be touching the roof. So I'm not sure what's going on. Either way, Special Magistrate, I do believe 30 days is enough time to bring this into compliance.
All right, CE 24112988, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient of on the property in violation of 744C1, specifically the untrimmed trees are a hurricane hazard. Respondent has 30 days to come to compliance, or a fine of $100 per day may issue.
And lastly, number 24, 822 33rd Street, CE 24102861.
All right, Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. This is a case that involves a repeat violation. While on routine patrol, I noticed a damaged fence at 822 33rd Street. I initiated my investigation on October 15th, 2024, and this property is vacant. There I observed the following violations: 94302A, 3, which is a fence permit that is required; 18106K, landscape maintenance, in particular cutting the grass; 7894C, cutting the grass in the parkway area; 18106B, excessive growth throughout the property in general; and the repeat violation, 2635B. The repeat is for 78-94-C and 18-106-K. And the reference code case is CE 240-51947. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of this hearing date. The notice of violation was noticed by certified mail and regular mail on October 21st, 2024 by the city's clerk. I posted the notice of violation at the property and city hall on December 18th, 2024. And I also completed the affidavit of posting on December 18th, 2024. I revisited the property on October 29th, 2024, November 5th, 2024, December 18th, 2024, and January 6th of 2025, and observed the property not to be in compliance with Code Section 94302A3, which is that fence permit that is needed, and 18-106B, excessive growth. I took the photographs at the initial investigation and when I revisited the property, and these photographs show that the violations still exist on the property, and they accurately and truthfully depict the violations I observed during my investigation. The property owner is not present, and I have not made contact for the property owner with this particular case, but for the previous repeat case, I have made contact with the property owner multiple times, including showing him photos in great detail about the problem that he is having with his property and how to maintain the property and get it under control, with the excessive growth in particular. The property owner also contacted the city clerk on December 4th of 2024 to inquire about this case in the lien reduction process. So all that to say that the owner is aware of this particular case. So the city is requesting a $350 flat fee for the repeat violation of 78-94-C and 18-106-K. For the remaining violations, 94-302-A-3 and 18-106-B, the city is requesting 45 days to comply. If no compliance, a daily fine of $200 per day.
Thank you. Nothing further, Special Magistrate. We're asking for the code enforcement officer's testimony, the case file, and the photographs taken to be admitted into the record as evidence, please.
All right, without objection, I'll accept an evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, including the testimony and photographs taken by the code officer as city's composite exhibit. In case CE 241028161, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find the notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 7894C. The swales and parkway have to be properly maintained, and 18106K, the front, side, and rear yards of landscaping have to be maintained. I make further findings that said violations are a repeat violation of the Code 2635B of the City of West Palm Beach Code of Ordinances. I hereby assess a one-time fine of $350. I make further finding that the property is in violation of 94302A3. I'm missing a required fence permit to repair the fence, and 7894C, 18106B, excessive growth. A respondent has 45 days to bring that into compliance or fine of $200 per day. Mission.
Thank you. Thank you, Officer Lattimore, for your extensive testimony and making something painful less painful. Thank you for that whole street citation that you did. Excellent job. Thank you.
Are we at 11:30 for the other matters? Yeah. All right, so we're gonna take a break, a recess until the other matters at 11:30.
Yes, thank you.
All right, I'm hereby call us back into order. This is the special magistrate for the city of West Palm Beach. This is the other matters agenda. Cases are going to be called in the order in which they appear on the agenda. Please make sure you have signed in. Most of these appear to be reduction of fine requests. So when you come up, the city is going to present its testimony and evidence first and introduce the case, after which time you'll have the opportunity to present your case to me and to make your ask. It's important that you actually ask me for something. Tell me specifically the remedy that you are seeking, and please try and keep in mind the requirements of the city code as to reductions of fines and what is supposed to be weighed in such a reduction. All right. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, which means the formal rules of evidence do not apply here. However, all testimony is taken under oath under penalty of perjury. So if you're going to testify or you think you might testify, there's a possibility that you might testify. I'd ask that you rise and raise your right hand so you can be sworn in. Anyone that's going to talk? You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury and the laws of the state of Florida?
Yes.
All right, please be seated. City can call the first one.
First case, number 25, 912 14th Street, CE 03070342, number 25, 912 14th Street.
Good morning, Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. For case number CE 03070342, address 912 14th Street. This case was originally cited July 22nd of 2003. They were cited for unpaved parking as well as overgrowth of the grasses on the, it's an empty lot that they were cited for, trash and debris and things of that nature. This went to a special magistrate hearing September 17th of 2003. It was ordered for the fine to start as of September 30th, 2003, and that ran for 602 days at $100 a day for a total of $60,200, and this was complied May 24th, 2005. Service in this case was retrieved by way of certified mailing. This was done under the same owner, 2 cases under their ownership. So the city requests a reduction to 25% of the lien, which would be $15,050.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Anthony Diaz.
And what is your position with the owner, Mr. Tax?
I am the property manager. I handle the lots, all of our properties that we have.
So what are you asking me for and why should I grant it to you?
So we wanted to ask for the reduction to be, to pay 5% of it, seeing that the value, the assessed value is $22,000 on the property. The land value is $50,000. The amount of the violation is $60,200, which was because of a previous owner, not under our care. So we're wanting to, I heard the offer was 15, but I wanted to see if we can pay 5% of it, because seeing as it was from a previous owner, was out of our hands and our condition, we've been trying to get this taken care of for the past couple of years.
So what is 5%?
It will be $3,010.
What's the city's response to that offer? When did your company take control of this property?
It was, I have my email here, let me see.
September 2013.
September, yes, September 2013.
So your company must have had knowledge that there was a lien on this property at that time, no?
I believe when we discussed that in the office, there was there's a confusion of property, which I had to come back and I had to speak with Marcus and Monique regarding this. There was a confusion in property when we purchased the property with the lot that is behind with the lot that we have. That it was at one point, it was one parcel, and then it got split to two folios, and the parcel in the back kept using our lot because that was their only cross through, and they kept taking our fence down that was separating the lot, putting their mailbox there. I mean, there's a little bit of it's kind of a difficult property there.
All right, hold that thought. So,
City would counter magistrate with 10%, which would be 6,020.
And that would be our final counter?
Yes, ma'am.
I think that's reasonable.
10%. Okay.
You walked in at 60, you walk out with 6.
Yeah.
I think you did all right.
We'll take the 10%.
All right, CE 030704342 reduced to $6,000 payable. How much time do you need?
I'm sorry?
How much time do you need to pay?
How is that process normally take with you guys? I mean,
You can do it almost
we have to
immediately.
pay within like 30 days or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, 30 days. If you don't pay within the 30 days, it returns the original amount, so that's
Yeah.
why it's important, all right?
Here's a copy of your order. $6,000, that's what he said.
6,000?
That was the ruling.
6,200, actually.
Oh, when you
Did I
ruled, you
say
said
6,000?
6,000, so
All
that's
right,
what I put.
you win from my misstatement, 6,000.
6,000.
6,000?
Yeah, whatever she wrote there is good.
Next case is number 26 and 29 for 924 McIntosh Street, CE 210306226 and CE 200200198.
Magistrate, would you like to hear them separately or all together?
Go ahead.
All right. So for case number CE 210306226, agenda item number 26, excuse me, address 924 McIntosh Street. This case was originally cited in March of 2021. They were cited for Florida building codes, exterior and exterior work that was done without permits, irrigation work also done without permits. This went to a special magistrate hearing June 2nd, 2021, and it was ordered for the fine to start as of July 6th, 2021. This ran for 1,115 days at $25 a day for a total of $27,875 and was complied July 25th of 2024. Service in this case was achieved by way of posting as well as regular mail. This was done under the same owner of 4 cases with code enforcement under their ownership. So the city requests a reduction to 25% of the lien, which will be $6,968.75.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
My name is Justin Hood.
Mr. Hood, what are you asking me for, and why should I grant it to you?
So in regards to this case, I acquired the property in June of 2019. Some work was done to the property. It was a fix and flip, completely unbeknownst to me, and it slipped through title that they pulled the permits, never closed the permits, and then the property was sold to me. So I basically inherited all this stuff. At the end of 2019, the company I was working for here in West Palm closed down. I relocated to the Tampa Bay area where I reside now. And I didn't get any communication whatsoever about what was going on with the property. So what was mailed to me and what was posted, at that time there was no tenants, the house was vacant. So it kind of went some time until I actually got a tenant, and then I found out about it. I came down and I believe that was Louis Crespo. I dealt with him, and I came in for the first magistrate hearing, missed it by about 5 minutes and sat with Mr. Crespo and Mr. Brown. They went over everything, and he told me that he knew about this gentleman, Deal Properties, who was working this fix and flip, but never closed the actual case. So as far in terms of what I'm asking for, based on the fact that it was unbeknownst to me that any of this work was done, and I purchased the property that way, I was hoping that the city can grant me favor and absolve the fine.
Yeah, I don't think they would agree to that, but I won't even ask them that because I don't think that's appropriate. At the end of the day, the notice requirements for the city are to send them to the records that you put in the property appraiser's records. So if you didn't receive notice, but they sent it to the right place, then that's not their fault. That's a mistake that you made. With all of that said, the city has already offered to reduce it from $27,875 to $6,968, which I think is a pretty good offer. But if you want to make me another offer, I'll listen.
I mean, I believe, I don't know what I originally wrote in on the lien reduction, but I mean, I think I'm trying to be fair and honest, but if somebody purchases a property and it goes through title, is it really the responsibility of the owner if somebody else did work, didn't do it in right standings, and then the new owner, this is my first property, inherits all this stuff that I completely
Sir,
knew nothing about?
I'm not going to give you legal advice about whether or not you have a cause of action against the previous owner or whether you have a cause against your title company. I can't speak to that.
Okay.
What I can speak to is that there's a almost $28,000 fine on here, and the city is offered to reduce it to a little under $7,000.
Okay. Is it possible in this particular case that you guys could do half of that?
I'm sorry, you have to speak up a little bit.
Half of that, 50% of the 7,000?
So you're talking 3,500?
Yes, sir.
What's the city think of that?
And the city will accept that, Magistrate.
How much time do you need, sir?
What's the maximum allowed?
Usually not more than 60 to 90 days.
Yeah, because I understand that I have another one here that I need to take a look at.
How much time do you need? What would be good for you?
I think 90 days, yeah.
Was that 90 days?
Yes, sir.
All right, in case CE 210300626, reduce to $3,500 payable in 90 days. Good luck, sir.
He has one more for the same address, Magistrate.
Oh, I should have noticed that.
Yeah, it's agenda item 29.
Yep, let's go ahead and just call that one.
All right, so case number CE 200-20198 for 924 McIntosh Street. This case was originally cited February 12th, 2020. They were cited for failure to obtain a rental license and certificate of use, as well as an inoperative vehicle on the property. This went to a special magistrate hearing March 18th of 2020. It was ordered for the fine to start as of April 18th, 2020. And this ran for 326 days at $150 a day for a total of $48,900. This was complied March 10th of 2021. Service in this case was also achieved by way of posting and regular mail. This was done under the same owner. Again, 4 cases with code enforcement under their ownership. So the city requests a reduction to 25% of the lien, which would be $12,225.
Mr. Hood.
Yes, sir.
So what happened here?
I mean, it was the same kind of situation. February 20th of 2020, property was vacant. I didn't live there. I'm not even sure exactly how the rental license situation came up. because nobody was there at the property.
Were you renting the property at some point?
I got a tenant, I think in March or April. And it was neglect on my part not to have an address change, but my life was a bit of in a whirlwind, seeing that the company had shut down and I had to relocate right after purchasing this property. So in between moving back to the Tampa Bay area, just...
Well, make me an offer. What are you asking?
What is 25% of that?
The city offered $12,225.
So could we do 50% of that as well?
$6,112, if I'm doing my math right.
City will accept that, Magistrate.
All right. Do you need the 90 days on this one as well?
Yes, sir.
All right. CE 200200198 reduced to $6,112 payable within 90 days. All right. Good luck this time.
Number 27 and the number 30 for 421 Roseland Drive, CE 200300427 and CE 190300092.
Magistrate, would you like to hear these separately as well?
No, let's put them together.
Put them both, okay. So for
Same
agenda
property
item-
address, right?
Yes, same address. All right, so for agenda item 27, case number CE 200300427, address of 421 Roseland Drive. This case was originally cited March 26th of 2020. They were also cited for building codes, work being performed without permits, roofing, renovation of the rear structure. A stop work order was issued and 4 times the fee also issued. This went to a special magistrate hearing September 16th of 2020. It was ordered for the fine to start as of October 16th, 2020. That ran for 1,413 days at $100 a day for a total of $141,300. And this was complied August 29th of 2024. Service in this case was achieved by way of posting as well as regular mail. This was done under the same owner. 6 cases with code enforcement under their ownership. So the city would like to request a reduction of 25% of the lien, which will be a total of $35,325.
Why don't you go ahead and present the other one as well?
All right, for the second case, that's agenda item number 30. Case number CE 190-30092. Same address, 421 Roseland Drive. This case was originally cited March 7th of 2019. They were cited for failure to obtain a rental license as well as certificate of use. This went to a special magistrate hearing April 17th, 2019. It was ordered for the fine to start as of May 18th, 2019. That ran for 54 days at $200 a day for a total of $10,800 and was complied July 11th, 2019. Service in this case was achieved by way of posting regular mail as well as certified mail. This was, however, done under the previous owner, only 1 case under their ownership, so the city requests a reduction to 15% of that, which would be $1,620.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Sure, it's Karen Anise.
I'm sorry, one more time, a little slower.
Karen Anise.
Karen
Anise.
Anise? Hey, Ms. Anise, can you tell me your position with the owner KI Group LL?
Sure, I am the spouse of the owner.
Why do we have 2 different owners?
I think that Pomsicle was the previous owner before, and for some reason the code violation got written under Pomsicle. But we're...
So Pomsicle was the previous owner and KI Group is the current
Is the
owner?
current owner, correct?
And you're the wife of the principal from KI Group. Does he know that you're here representing him?
Yes, there's an affidavit.
Okay. So what are you asking me for, and why should I grant it to you?
Okay, so when we purchased the property, we did know there was a code violation, and we were trying to fix that. I believe it was the property owner of Pomsicle purchased it with I don't know if it was a foreclosure or something with the bank. So there was a lot of issues with the house, with the front. The house was a little difficult because it's one big parcel, but it has two different addresses. So we had everything with the address at the property. All the information kept coming to the house, not to our. We had that as a legal address, so we weren't getting it to our home, which is one of the issues that we made as a mistake. But in order for us to be able to comply finally with that, we actually ended up having to demo the front of the house, which was 421 Roseland. And we, in that time, were doing update renovations to the back of the house. We did hire a company to help us do that, but they didn't do a good job. They pulled some permits, and some things that we did hire them for, we didn't realize later that they hadn't even submitted them. That's when I hired a different company, came in, and then just kind of drove ground to get this done and in compliance. And now we do have a beautiful property in the back we're proud of. It has a rental license. Everything is going great. So in the meantime, it just took all this time long to unravel the mess and get the right people to do what they were supposed to or hired to do. And we've spent tons of money paying these contractors and people to get it done, and it was one thing or another where it wasn't getting done. So that's why we're asking for the lien reduction, and I was hoping that we can get this. We understand it's our fault not being able to get everything in time, but we were hoping that we can get this down to about 5% of the total, because it's a lot of money.
What is the 5%?
5% for agenda item 27 would be $7,065.
Well, that's a pretty big difference between 35 and 7,000.
We have been in compliance for a long time. We've been trying to get to the hearings and get everything done. So I have been trying to be as proactive as possible to get all this done. And we just really hope that we can get this matter resolved.
Did you say that this group has how many code cases?
6 cases with code enforcement.
That's a lot of cases.
How do we have six cases?
There are 6 cases on file with this address for the
For
same
this
owner.
address?
Yes, ma'am.
I only was aware of this.
I'm not the code officer for that zone, so I'm not sure with the caseload. But when I looked it up, there are 6 cases.
Are they all currently in compliance? Well, they have to be in compliance if they're here, right?
They all have been complied, yes, sir.
Oh, that's just, I was only aware of these cases to come. I mean, this was the only one I was aware of. This and anything else that was.
So these are the only 2 that have a lien on it, but there have been 6 additional cases that they've all come into compliance, but there were 6 cases that were written for the address.
Okay,
Correct.
but there's no liens on them, or there's
No, just
okay,
these
nothing
2.
else, but everything.
Correct.
Okay. It was probably, okay, if there was anything like that, it had to be with the front property that was the lot that was vacant, because that was considered a nuisance, and that's what we tried getting in order, which boarding it up, and then we ended up having to demo that lot, or that property, that house in the front. That's the only thing I can think of.
All right, this is what I'm willing to do. I reduce it to 10%, which would be 14,130. And I'd reduce the case number 30 to $1,000.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
How much time do you need?
Can we have 30 days?
You can.
Thank you.
All right, CE 200300427 reduced to 14,130, payable 30 days. CE 190300092 reduced to 1,000, payable 30 days. And I hope you take this the right way, but I hope not to see you again.
Thank you.
All right.
Here's a
Good luck.
copy of your order, ma'am. Okay, number 28, 714 25th Street, CE 181000440.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. For agenda item 28, case number CE 181000440. Address of 714 25th Street. This case was originally cited October 30th of 2018. They were cited for illegal use of land, clean and sanitary conditions, as well as maintenance needed to be done to the fence on the property. This went to a special magistrate hearing December 5th of 2018, It was ordered for the fine to start as of February 4th, 2019. This ran for 1,733 days at $100 a day for a total of $173,300 and was complied November 3rd, 2023. Service in this case was achieved by way of posting regular mail as well as certified mail. This was done under the same owner. We do have an agreement, Magistrate, beforehand to reduce the fine to $17,000 payable within 60 days.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Yes, my name's Alan Sicklin. I'm a lawyer representing this property owner. And yes, that's the agreement we reached.
Well, you guys made it easy for me.
Pardon me?
You made it easy for me. Right, in CE1, what was it, 60 days?
60 days, yes, sir.
In CE 181000440, I reduced the fine to 17,000. Was it 17,000 flat?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
17,000.
Payable within 60 days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and lastly, we have an add-on to the agenda, number 31 for 1401 Village Boulevard, Unit 422, CE 200100262.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. For agenda item 31, case number CE 200100262, address of 1401 Village Boulevard, Unit 422. This case was originally cited January 14th, 2020. They were cited for failure to obtain a rental license and certificate of use. This went to Special Magistrate November 18th, 2020. It was ordered for the fine to start as of December 18th of 2020. This ran for 116 days at $200 a day for a total of $23,200, and this was complied on April 13th of 2021. Service in this case was achieved by way of posting and regular mail. This was under the previous owner. These are the new owners that have applied for the lien reduction. And so the city requests a reduction of 15% or a total of $3,480.
Good morning, Special Magistrate and City Representatives. My name's Attorney Hillary Zalman, and I'm here with my client, who's an authorized agent of the company, Romani Lizarazo. Shall we proceed?
Please do.
This is an interesting one because my client is very aware he's the type of individual you'd want to have in your community. He does everything by the book. Him and his family just came from Colombia, went through all the proper paperwork, purchased their first investment property here to do this closing, and it was purchased on April 30th, 2021. 3 days prior is when this lien was recorded, and I have both of these items here, which is why I'm assuming why the title company didn't do that last day title search. And unfortunately, even though he believed he's doing everything properly, it looks like the title company failed to catch it on that 3-day overlap. So he wouldn't have purchased it knowing that there was, they wouldn't have been able to afford a $23,200 lien. They used their family, the name of the company's Family and Property. This is a family that used all their family money to make this purchase. So since they've been in Florida, it's been a little bit of a hardship for them to maintain it, and thus in 2023, they decided to try to sell the property. Of course, when they went to sell it, we discovered with Mr. Williams that there was a lien sitting here, and they were flushed. So they contacted me to assist. I've been in contact with Mr. Williams, and we're hoping for reduction. Again, everything was done with the prior owner. Since my client has taken over, he's been a fantastic landlord, in touch with his tenant, who's also having a terrible hardship going through very difficult cancer issues. And it's been a hardship on him economically, and he needs to move on with the property. That's why he needs to sell, and that's why we're here. So we were hoping for, it's my understanding that the general recommendation might be 10%. I know he said 15. We were hoping for a 5% reduction because, again, he's invested a great deal of money into the property, kept it up, obviously maintained it to be here today.
I'll tell you what I'll do. The city offered what, 3,480?
Mm-hmm.
I'll make it 2,000. How much time do you need?
Can we go to 1,800?
I'm sorry?
Can we go to 1,800? Every dollar counts. And we can make it in 30 days.
What's the city's thought on
City
that?
would be at 2,000 like the special magistrate ordered in previously.
All right, 1,800, 30 days.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice January. Looks like we're the last case.
Thank you. You
Thank you.
too.
All right, we don't have any other ones that aren't on here, do we? All right, seeing no further business before us, we are adjourned. Good luck.